Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So what all are you guys talking about tonight?
Oh,
Hey, Pam. Really, Sharon sent me I probably about the same thing that you're about to share.
Okay.
For the high school people, and then we're normally by this time getting music packets together to send out at the end of the month for for district honor choir people.
Yeah.
And with nothing changing, we just have to decide what we want to do with that. So
Yeah.
um that's pretty much it. I don't know.
I'll start just briefly talking about the plans for assessment and just leave
Okay.
it there. Um, just so people can sort of get that in their mind. And then I'll talk a little bit about Allstate, and hopefully that'll help direct you guys in what you're going to do. The band is going to figure out what we're going to do probably in the next couple of weeks too.
Yeah. Just with, nothing really, everything's kind of stagnant, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while. So
Yeah.
might as well not leave our clinicians hanging till the last second and try to book them for next year if we can. Let's see. How is everybody?
I'm surviving.
Yep.
Making it through?
Hello. How y'all doing?
No, all right.
Let's see here.
My camera is on, huh?
It is not.
No.
Why? Okay. Gary?
We have Scotty Walker calling in. Were you aware of that, Josh?
I did not, but that's great. I wonder if Sharon told him to come in.
Maybe.
Hey, where's your dad?
Oh, it is Sharon.
Yeah, I had we had the LMEA one, and I was sending links to somebody today and I forgot to close it. Whoops.
Oh,
Just pretend like, it says Sharon.
We were confused for a second.
Nah, don't be confused. Sorry about that, guys.
like we must have done something wrong.
No.
I'm there now. I got it.
Oh,
Y'all
Hey,
can
y'all-
see me now, right?
We're featuring Elizabeth Robbins is one of the couple of people we're in the magazine this month. So yay, Elizabeth.
exciting.
Thank you.
I know some of y'all have good ideas, so some more of y'all need to be sending stuff in.
I think the Tansy people are navigating a little bit more right now than we are in St. Tammany. With you have virtual and in person. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ugh. I don't know how you're doing it.
I don't know how any of y'all are doing it.
It's a lot.
Go grab my. All right. I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer than we have to. I know we don't want to sit here forever on a weeknight, but I thought it was important to get some updates out to you guys. And I know some of you, especially the high school people who's normally by this point have had a lot of deadlines passing. I want to, give you a chance to ask any questions, and I am screen recording this. So, anyone who hasn't been able to call in tonight, we'll be able to add this to our district YouTube page. They can call in or watch later whenever they need to. So we're going to start with Josh, and he's going to give us, and maybe Karen will have some updates as well, or some clarifications on assessment and All-State for high school.
Yeah, so I just want to briefly talk about assessment. I'm not going to go over all the details. And this isn't anything, this is more something for you to have in the back of your mind as you're going forward, to just know that this is something that can and will be happening in some form later on this spring. But some changes for assessment. Assessment is going to be happening in some form in the spring. First, there will not be any classifications at all. The requirements for any ensemble will be to perform a minimum of 1 selection off of any music list on any level. You may perform up to 3 selections, but are not required to perform 3 selections. Sight reading will not be a part of this year's assessment. Right now, we're looking at 2 different tracks for what an assessment will look like. Of course, we're hoping for sort of like a plan A of having some sort of in-person assessment, like a normal festival. But it's highly likely that that won't happen. More than likely, it's going to be some sort of virtual assessment, meaning you will basically submit a recording. You have the choice to still go for ratings and awards, and if you go for awards and ratings, you can earn up to the concert stage plaque. Of course, there won't be a sweepstakes trophy because there's not a sweepstakes because there's not a sight reading, but the stage concert plaque will be available. Though we're expecting a lot of people would probably go for comments only. The cost, if it is a virtual assessment, will be $100, and honestly, $100 for to get feedback from 3 judges. It seems like a pretty good deal for me. I know choirs typically have less money than bands, but still keep that in mind. Ensemble submissions will have a May 1st deadline. And again, we can talk more about that later, but basically, if there's some sort of assessment, probably the idea will be that we're not going to have like a date, we're going to have assessment on April 2nd or whatever. It's going to be something like, you have to have your video audio submission by April 15th or something, and we'll send that away and to our judges and send it back. So again, I'll send this document to you guys. It has a little bit more detail. I'll send it to you probably in the morning, and that'll answer probably any questions that you might have. It also has some suggestions on there on what you can do as far as making sure you can get a good quality recording. And again, hopefully we can all play and sing by the time that comes along. So that's assessment. If you have any questions on that, I'd prefer that you email me. I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that right now. Next, I'm going to talk about Allstate. If Alyssa, if you want to screen share that for me. While I pull it up on my computer. Okay, so as she's getting that up, first round plans or Allstate plans have changed for the vocal side. And there's been some confusion on what's happening with band and what's happening for choir, and there's been some confusion even amongst district directors that actually called us to sort of an emergency meeting, like we need to get this straight. So basically, the band and choir are now doing the same sort of thing. So there is going to be one live streamed virtual real-time audition. So that's going to be just like we'll schedule a day or maybe 2 days, depending on how we need to do it, for students to audition. The plan is for this to probably happen on a Saturday and for students to audition from their computer at home. This will be a virtual live video audition that they're doing again from their home. And there'll also at the same time be a live proctor from their home on a computer somewhere else, and the judges from their computers at their home somewhere else. So everything's happening live but virtually. And we kept running into the issue of terminology and trying to think more of it streaming. It's a streaming audition. Proctors will provide audition information to students. There will be no communication between the students and the judges. Again, I'll send this document, or Alyssa can send this to you later on. There's a couple of things on here. Again, there'll be a sign-in audition time. Students are going to need to, it's going to be live video. So students are going to need to know that they need to dress up. It's not going to be blind. They need to dress up a little bit. They need to, make sure they're not in a messy room. They don't need to have their dogs running around and stuff like that. There's a caveat in there that if a student doesn't have access to internet or computer service at home, there are some things that we could do. And that's why I said maybe having it over 2 days, maybe if they need to audition at school or something, that could happen. So that audition, that first round audition will be the first round music that you guys are going to be doing for first round Allstate anyway. And that audition is going to be recorded. And then the students of our district quota who would be moved on to second round, those videos will then be picked up and given to the second round set of judges. And that's where the all-state will come. The all-state judges and all-state choir will be selected from that group. So they will not actually be auditioning a second time. It's just going to be that first round material. So you don't have to worry about the second round material. So I know a lot of choirs work on that first round and sometimes the second round music. It is just the first round you have to worry about. As far as scheduling for you guys, whenever you guys are making up determinations on your calendars, this needs to happen by February 6th, Saturday, February 6th. All auditions need to be done. And we need to have the allotment list submitted to LMEA to Greg Oden by February 7th. So when you're figuring that out on your calendar, February 6th is when that needs to be done. And then all state results will be posted the following weekend. So it won't be like that same week. It's not like the same day like it usually is for second round. It'll be about a week for that to happen. Fees. So for first round or for really the audition in general, $20 has to go to accepted. So a fee of $20 is going to be applied to everybody who auditions for first round, and that's going to go to accepted. They are suggesting that if it's possible for junior high directors or other people to judge first round, we have to secure our own first round judges like we normally would. If we could find them to do it for free, then we don't have to apply any other first round fees. On the band side, we don't know if we're going to be able to do that and have, be able to maintain the integrity of our auditions. So we're looking at seeing what we have to do to charge extra, maybe $5 extra a person or something. So that's what we're looking at. If you guys have people who would judge for free, that's on you. So again, for first round, we are responsible for finding our own judges like we normally would. It's just instead of going to Ponchatoula High or Southeastern or whatever, they're going to be sitting at their home. So
Gosh.
again, that's something we have to figure out. Yes.
I'm not going to have any tenors audition. Would it be all right if I judged up tenors?
That's
The
up to
tenors.
you guys.
Okay.
That's up to your the choral directors. So again, so that's first round. And then for those students who are selected to move on to second round, again, they're not re-auditioning, but whenever their recording is passed on to second round, the cost to cover that new set of judges is going to be $7 each. So that's not going to be that big of a deal. And my last thing on here for fees is students who qualify for free lunch, I think for reduced lunch maybe as well, or parents who are unemployed can have the $20 accepted fee waived. And there's a link there where they can apply for that fee waiver. And again, that'll be in the document that I'll send out or Alyssa will send out for any high school directors that want to know about that. One last thing before I open it up to questions. Through the accepted format, they're going to audition just like they normally would, and sight reading is going to happen still too. There's the ability for the proctor to flash up sight reading, and that's still going to be part of the audition. So with that, are there any questions about all state auditions for me?
In the means of the fees, so we're not paying one check. Each person's paying their own way. Is that how you're saying it?
So it sort of depends. If you guys find a way for you not to have any cost as far as first round auditions, then they could pay through accepted. There's they can pay with a credit card over the internet, and they can do that. There's also is a way that they could submit a check to the school, and the school could write one big check to accept it, and they'll get basically a coupon code. That's a possibility. I would suggest if you guys do have to charge some sort of first round fee, like if you're saying I have to pay for judges, I had to, let's say we assess every kid a $5 fee for first round, then I would probably suggest you just have all the kids write a $25 check to the school, and then through the Choral Directors Association account, they maybe write to accept it, or the schools write to accept it. And I can talk to Alyssa and the Choral Directors Board to figure out exactly how we want to iron out those details. That's not a detail I don't think we need to iron out right now, but that's a possibility. Any other questions, comments, concerns about this?
So it's still Shenandoah, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So again, this document will get sent out, and the other document about assessment will get sent out. And of course, if you guys have any questions at all, send me an email. And I'll get back to you guys quickly. Is someone talking?
I have a question, Josh.
Is that me?
I have a question. This is Valerie. Thanks. Is accepted a vendor already for St. Tammany Parish?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I don't think that'd be hard for us to get done. Or
Like there's a vendor form, and then they have to send their like W-9 or something. I think any
it might.
bookkeeper can do it.
And if that's a big issue, we could even have it to where maybe, like I said, the Choral Directors Association maybe writes a check. Maybe you write the check to the CDA, and then Alyssa writes the check to accept it. That's an option that could happen too, to avoid that paperwork. Anything else? All right, cool.
So, I have a question.
All right.
So how does this take into account students who don't have internet access at home or don't have the bandwidth to sustain an audition like at all?
Yeah. So in this document, let me see exactly. Okay. So the way it's worded from them is it says, if a student does not have internet or computer service at home, it will be up to the students and the school's director to find other options to have the student audition streamed at different locations. So some options might be, we also need to know how many students this is. If it's 1 or 2 students, it could be something as simple as maybe the director opens up the school for an hour during the middle of the day, and they come and stream their audition from school. If it's several students, like if it's a bigger chunk of students, maybe we see if we can have maybe on like a Friday afternoon after school, we have some audition block, and maybe Saturday there's more. So I think the biggest thing is going to depend on how many students we're talking about. But I think the biggest thing might be just opening up the schools might be the easiest option.
And I have a second question. Is there a clear format of what All-State is going to look like later on, along with dates as to where they're happening, so our students can commit to a time and dates before auditioning?
So a date is set. Sharon, do you want to talk maybe a little bit more about that?
The dates, gosh, they're on the website.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look up real quick.
Yeah. I think is it the 21st? Oh, shucks.
I know it's the end of March.
27th, 28th, and 29th, I believe, for choir. They're doing band starting on Friday, and then choir and jazz and orchestra starting on Saturday. Since there are no clinics at that particular time, then we have a lot more space available to us, and we'll be using both of the hotel spaces, the Crown Plaza and also the whatever it is.
Embassy.
Yeah, Embassy. And they're also trying to not have students miss more than 1 day of school. So that's the reason for using the weekend and trying to overlap some stuff as much as possible. So we will be the 27th through the 29th, all of the concerts for those people will be staggered on the 29th. Does that answer that question? Okay, it'll be at the same location. We have it locked in at the rate and all that is the same. We are asking for teachers to be present. We would like to have that. There's not going to be an additional fee or anything like that. Can't just go to conference. So we're waiving that. But we're trying really hard to have something for students if we can. It's the best answer we have right now.
And is there a plan in case we are not able to have an all-state? Are there refunds that will be issued, et cetera, et cetera?
Some of that, as far as I know, Josh, you might know better than me, has not been worked out. I do know that if they're selected, then they will get, the awards, whatever they would normally get, even if it does not work out. At this point in time, it's just so far out. I mean, that we're doing the best we can. It's just it's a moving target.
And keep in mind that, for those that make All-State, there is that All-State participation fee too after they make the ensemble. So you know, it's not like, you know, they're paying the money for the audition and they refund for the audition. So at the very least, I know, you know, in the worst case scenario, at least the all-state choirs will be named. So especially for those upperclassmen that, you know, when they're going to college, they can write on their, you know, application, they made the all-state choir. So that's at the very minimum that'll happen. But, you know, hopefully we're not in a position where we need to issue refunds and stuff, since that will be, you know, middle of February. So hopefully by then we'll know if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah. Nothing from the auditions will be refunded.
Yeah.
That's just a minimal fee. That's barely covering our costs, not quite covering costs. And we do, you know, like you said, we do want them to be able to put it on their, we don't want them to skip it. Oh, you didn't make it. You know, we want them to have it on their website. We want them to know that they're part of it. We're looking for plan Bs. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah. Got any more questions, Caleb?
I could
Anyone
ask
else?
questions all night.
Any other questions, comments? My last thing I'll do before I go is just highly recommend that you guys look into the LMEA conference, the virtual conference. I don't know if you looked at the schedule. The schedule looks awesome. We've been with the virtual format. We're able to get a lot of you know, bigger names that we wouldn't typically be able to get. And you know, our advocacy efforts are leading to some big people coming to. The First Lady of Louisiana is going to be speaking, which I've been trying to get for years now. So that's a big thing for me. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be great. It's over the weekend. It's, you know, inexpensive. Everything's going to be recorded. So if you can't sit for the whole thing, or if you want to watch the clinics later, it's really, really convenient. It's going to be great. So there's nothing else. Alyssa, do you have anything, or am I done for today?
I don't think I have anything else from you, unless.
All right, cool.
I have a question.
All right.
I was just curious, this isn't about the All-State Honor Choir, but about the solo assessments that was done for the state solo. When would we know where can we go or whatever to look for results of that?
That's going to be available probably by the end of this week. I talked to them today, and they are in the process of going through those right now. There will be a concert of instrumentalists, and there will also be a concert that'll split between choir and some strings at the conference.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go. So again, if you have any questions ever, let me know, and I will see you guys all later.
Thank you. Did you have another comment, Sharon, before that question about Solo Festival?
Yeah, there have been a couple of questions that I've gotten, and I'm not sure I got everybody replied to, about accessing the conference. We will be sending out to everybody who registers, we will be sending out a link to a conference program, and it will have, in the schedule, it will have links to each one of the different sessions, and then you can go live to those. If there are two things that you happen to see at the same time, then you will have access to those later. And you will have to just sign in, basically, like you would do at a registration desk. When you enter the conference, you'll have to just sign in with like a name and an email. And then you'll have access to whatever. If you shut it out, you may have to re-enter that the next day and sign in again. But that's all you'll have to do after you've registered. But you're not going to get those links probably until right before the conference. We may send it out earlier that week, but then the links actually won't go live until, close to conference time.
Awesome. Did anybody have any more questions about any of that conference or all state stuff? No? Okay. So the next thing I just wanted to quickly go over are just, and this may be slightly different in Tangi Parish, but our guidelines of what we're supposed to be doing in the classroom right now, what we're allowed to be doing in the classroom right now, coming from the state board and filtering down through the St. Tammany Parish School Board. And Melanie was awesome enough to ask her husband to get some clarification on this, just to be sure. Let's see, I had that open somewhere. So for us, we, and this came from Ms. Hanson, just I think about a week ago, and most of this you probably already know, but just like kind of a clarification on it. Singing outside for us right now is preferable, but if we have to sing inside, we can if we are following these safety measures. We have to have them at least 6 feet apart. They have to be wearing masks the entire time. They have to be facing in the same direction and in a straight line. They cannot be in a curve or anything like that. So if you have them singing on risers, they need to be in a straight line because even the choral risers are slightly curved. And then for every 30 minutes that they're singing, we have to have a 10-minute period of air circulation. Now that one, I'm not sure if they have to be out of the room for the air circulation or if they just have to keep their masks on. I don't know if they're allowed to talk with their masks on during the air circulation. But to my understanding, they should be, I mean, I would think that they would need to be like not aspirating during that 10 minutes. So I don't know what we would do during that unless you're going to take them outside and continue singing outdoors. Which is not always possible. So I don't know if it's the same in Tangi Parish, but for St. Tammany, that's what is filtering down from our school board. I also talked to my principal who was in contact with Ms. Hanson about the possibility of bringing our students off campus for things like district honor choir. And at this point, it's not something that St. Tammany Parish students are going to be allowed to do. And that might change. Ms. Hanson did agree that there is a problem with sports teams being allowed to go other places and play in contact sports and then telling choirs that they cannot go out and sing somewhere else with another group of students. She agrees that that is an issue and she is trying to find out if there's anything we can do about it. But as of right now, it's not a possibility for us. So with all that in mind, with these deadlines and us getting far closer to the end of the year, we really just need to figure out what we think is the best thing for us to do at this point for our district honor choir groups. I have a couple of ideas if you want me to kind of toss those out. But we're getting to the point where I really would prefer to try to make a decision and let our clinicians that we have booked know at some point, you know, at least in about a month, and give them a little bit of a buffer before they were supposed to be coming in, and try to get them rebooked for the following year. See, there's something in the chat. Ms. Hanson did not send an email to everyone. My principal spoke with her, and the email that Melanie sent me said that your husband spoke to her, and that's what she said, right?
Yeah, he called her and talked to her for a little while, and he emailed me what the result of the phone call was, and then I emailed that to you so we could talk about it tonight. But there wasn't an email from her to everybody. I'm not sure why, but there wasn't. So you did not get something. Everybody understand? Like, y'all think you're not on the list of some sort. There was no list.
I see. Yeah, no, she didn't send an email to everyone. Sorry, I should have clarified. That was an email Melanie forwarded to me just with some information that she had found out. And the stuff about going off campus, that came also through a phone call from my principal to Ms. Hanson. So does anyone want to start off any ideas or anything they have I mean, personally, I feel like we're at the point where we need to make a decision, yes or no. And at this point, we cannot make the yes decision for January. We are not at a point where that's going to be feasible for us. But I don't want to just cancel it altogether. Like, the state board is trying to do everything they can to have something for them. And I would like to try to do something also, especially for those kids in high school who've been in honor choir since, 5th or 6th grade. I don't want to, just take this away from them. But I don't think our traditional honor choir is going to be a possibility definitely not in January. I just don't think we're going to be ready. Does anyone have any thoughts or comments about that? Emily?
So I have no idea how to do this, so I am not volunteering myself in any way, shape, or form. But some type of virtual thing, like virtual choir. I mean, that's like totally overdone and stuff right now, but at the same time, I really don't think that there's like any other true possibility of like, at least my kids, I know, like we haven't sung a note yet this year at all. We are like damn good at rhythm. So as far as like going and like practicing things to sing and all of that, somewhere we wouldn't be able to do that. But I think the kids that are interested in like doing some type of district thing would be interested in a virtual choir. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility that I've thought of, especially since ACDA just put out a virtual choir video that turned out really, really nice.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we decided to do something. I know we have some money that we can use. I don't know how much it would cost. We would have to definitely look into our options because like Emily said, I don't know how to do that. And I know that they hired someone to produce that for ACDA. And I think if we wanted to make it something nice that they would, you know, something good that they can look back on and have, we would want it to be something nice and not just, you know, quickly thrown together. But that's definitely a possibility. Is that something that we would want to like do one for each group, like a middle school one, a junior high one, and a high school one? I think the high school group should definitely have something of their own if that's the route we're going to go. But yeah.
So a note on that. I think that's like our best shot is to do something virtually like that, if anything at all. And yes, it will be expensive, and yes, we might not get a lot of participation. Like for the ACDA one, they had 120 submissions, and out of all of that, there was one bass, and that bass was me. So and like that's from their youngest group all the way up through their high school groups and teachers. So I don't know that we would be able to create anything of quality with a much smaller poll than ACDA, which is the entire state.
I wonder if we were going to try to do something like that, if we needed more participation, if we might be able to convince some of our in-state collegiate directors to get some of their students to be able to participate with our high school students. And then in that case, we might just do something like a district honor choir, virtual choir song, and then it would be everybody. But I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense or if that would be a good idea, but just to, you know, try to get some people from around here, or not just this part of Louisiana, but, you know, from our state that could kind of help us out with numbers. I don't know, but yeah, we can explore more about the virtual choir videos. But before we say anything else, are we in agreement that the traditional January honor choir is not going to work for us this year? Yes. Do I have,
Yes.
Can I put that to an official vote? Because that's really what we need for this meeting.
Is there any possibility of making it later and doing with the thought of doing it live?
So if our restrictions that we have right now loosen, something that I talked to Alyssa Rowe a couple of times about this, and she would love to do it if we are able in the more towards the end of the school year, especially since we're not going to have our assessment. If we are able to do anything and go anywhere, she would be willing to host 2 groups at the university. She would do a clinic for one group, and then there are several collegiate directors that I think would be interested from, you know, around this part of around Louisiana, or just, you know, in the South, that would come and clinic another group just for one day. And she would host it, and that could be something that we can do. I don't know if we would do like a high school group and then we could combine middle school and junior high. For the second group. Numbers would most likely have to be limited still at that point, I would assume. But if we had to limit numbers, we could just cap, I don't know, maybe we could see about, I don't want to limit the high school students that normally would participate in district honor choir, was my thought with that. So if we had needed to split them into 2 groups, we would split them into 2 groups. And then we could have another similar thing for middle school, junior high combined on another day. But that was something that I was kind of like, you know, throwing ideas out there and just talking about how we didn't want to just outright cancel. And she offered that, which I thought was really nice. So that's a possibility for later in the year if we wanted to do something like that. Is that something that you guys would be interested in trying to do if we are able to do that?
Yeah.
Cool. And it
Would that be, I'm sorry, would that be instead of, or would that be along with?
I think that would have to depend on if we did decide definitely to do the virtual choir videos, how much that costs.
Okay.
And then how much it would cost to have 2 clinicians and 2 accompanists for the day.
Right.
It would be for one day, so it would be less expensive. And we could pull music from our own library if that's what we're gonna do. We shouldn't have to pay any money for music this year. We have enough to pull from if we're gonna do that. So it would be mostly just maybe they'd pay a couple dollars to get a lunch for the day, and then we would just have to worry about paying the clinicians and the 2 accompanists. So
okay. Can I also go backwards for a second to the virtual choir thing? I feel like the participation thing, besides the cost, because I know you guys are saying that it would be expensive, but like I feel like I might have more participation as far as like the virtual choir thing would go, because we're like in school right now, and we could offer that help and like that coaching and stuff to help them record their video. Hold on, sorry, Nora, chill out. So I feel like
He's not
We
feeling
understand.
jealous.
We totally understand.
I feel like since we're all in school and we could kind of like encourage participation for that, we might be able to get more people than we're thinking. Because I was just talking to Melanie earlier, saying that I didn't know much about the ACBA thing. I mean, I got the emails and stuff, but it was so early in the school year that like I couldn't even wrap my head around any other ideas other than just like surviving. So I feel like maybe if we were trying to like encourage the participation a little bit more, maybe we wouldn't be so, like it wouldn't be that scarce. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
That is true.
Yeah, that's a good
I kind of got off track.
No, that's a good point. I think that more of my I think that more of my students would participate as well if I could help them with it during the school day. Then I would have kids show up for auditions. So
I don't know if you're watching the group chat or whatever, but those of us at the middle school level can't even have choir.
No, not me.
I was just about to bring that up. I just saw that. Do you guys have any ideas of what you would want to do if we do anything? That you saying like it's going to be difficult for you to do anything with that at all, just because you can't even meet with them.
Right. I'm just saying, like, as far as our level is concerned, I just don't see it being feasible. So I think it's a good idea for the older groups for sure, but I just don't see it being feasible for our group right now anyway.
Are y'all okay with just kind of calling it the middle school, or do you want to just like wait and see?
No, I'd call it. I really would. Because, you know, at this point in time, I don't even have middle school choir. The only thing I have is 7th and 8th. Actually, the only thing I have this year is 8th grade. That's it. And, you know, there's no sign of getting that choir until they break the static classes. And I don't know what that's going to be.
Okay, I didn't realize, because I know Chafunkta Middle is letting their choir teacher start with her choir for the second 9 weeks. I didn't know that wasn't going to be the case everywhere.
You might want to maybe take a survey,
Okay.
put out a survey with that and see who does have little kids. You know, I know we don't.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I can send just an email and start a discussion with the middle school directors. Okay, so we have a couple of ideas, but what we need to do is just to officially call the January groups. It's like we've all.
You're making the motion, and I'll second it to cancel traditional January honor choir.
Okay. We all in agreement? Any opposed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I can contact our clinicians, and if you all agree also, I'll try to get them back, all the same 3, for our 2022 honor choir date to be determined at the end of the school year. Cool. All right. Okay.
Question, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
For the audition, are we still, we're not doing it before Christmas, right? Or is it going to be?
I thought it would probably be best for high school, because we do need to set an audition day for the high school for accepted, to probably do it at some point in January, so that if you haven't been able to introduce that music with them yet, that they can have the break to keep working on it, and then another week or so with you after Christmas, and then we can have it. Does that sound like it would be a good window of time, like mid-January?
That sounds good.
Okay. Do you guys have a date that would work best? And then I can get that added to our calendar. I guess if most of them are going to be doing it from their houses, then we can, schedule it for a Saturday, unless y'all would rather do it during the week.
Well, I have a lot of students that don't have internet, so we'd probably have to do it at school.
Okay. So, okay.
Let me see.
And then once we set a date, I know I'd be willing to help with judging, so we wouldn't have to do any additional judging costs. And I'll send an email to the rest of the middle school and junior high teachers and see if anybody else would be willing to help out with judging once we set a date, and then hopefully we'll get enough people to commit to that. I think it'd be nice if we could just, save them a few dollars here.
What about Tuesday the 19th? It's right after Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I don't know if that's good or bad to have it after a holiday, but.
I personally won't be able to help out if it's on that day, but if that works for everybody, then hopefully we could still get enough people to help judge and proctor.
If we do a weekday, are you meaning like after school hours?
I think it can be extended to after school hours if we're the ones that are teaching.
Yeah, I guess I'm just saying, like, how do we have judges if we're teaching, and how do we have kids if they're not, like, in our class at that minute, Like, I can't pull them out of somebody else's.
Right, yeah, so it would have to be after school hours, you're saying?
Yeah, unless we did it Saturday, like,
Yeah, I think that would be okay if that's what all of you want to do.
We could probably get the students to come to school on a Saturday if we needed to, and still do it at school, but on a Saturday, so that if they don't have internet, then they could come to school.
Good question. What if we had the teachers record the kids for their audition, and we set up a Google Classroom, and every teacher submits it with the Google Classroom, and then a judge goes and just looks at it. So we say, here's the deadline by such and such date, and then the judge comes and looks at all of them and judges at one time.
It's gonna have to be a live streamed audition, because they're gonna pull from those on accepted second round.
Well, yeah, for the high school, but I was talking about for the junior high.
Oh, for middle school and junior high, if we're gonna do a virtual choir, it's gonna be probably like teacher chosen. I'm not even worried about that for middle school and junior high. Do you all agree? I hadn't even thought about doing an audition if that's what we're gonna do. Even if it's a clinic, it can still be by teacher recommendation if we have to cap numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to try to figure out something that's best for you guys, for the high school teachers, for that. So after school should be fine if that's what you guys want to do, unless you would rather do a
Yeah.
Okay.
After
Sounds
school.
after school sounds fine with me.
Okay, so we want to put like a tentative for Tuesday the 19th. Friday before.
Yes, I would think so.
Or Lindsay just said maybe the Friday before Martin Luther King Day. That would be the 15th.
Okay.
That would work for me too.
Can I ask something? I'm sorry if my sound is strange. Last week, so I must have my sound strange. Anyway, if we're doing the online thing and everybody gets assigned a time, I guess I'm worried, like after school hours, we're talking like, you know, if we do it on a Saturday, it's usually like 9 to like 2. You know what I mean? Like, if would it be after school hours, like,
I think so. Okay, I think you're just saying like because we normally have so many hours of auditions, it would be hard to fit it in all after school on one day. Sharon,
Yeah.
did Josh say that we can open it up to 2 different days?
Yeah, that was my understanding. I wasn't in the meeting with the district directors that he's talking about, but I think they're really trying hard to accommodate whatever we've got to work with.
Okay.
What if, look, I have carpet in my band room, and that would be a better place to record. And if I can have another teacher there to do it, and let's say I proctor the tenors or the men because I won't have any guys audition. I only have girls this year. I could say the guys are at my facility and we set it for the 16th. And if I have a couple of teachers helping me set up different time slots, I got a big 8-foot by 8-foot projector for the kids. I could put the sight reading up there in my computer. We can live stream it right there because I'm going to be live judging if we do the men right then and there. I could do that, put that up there. If I have a couple of teachers, I could do all the guys on the 16th. That's Saturday at my school.
All
If you're fine with that.
for the whole district, you're saying?
The deal with the first round, that's going to be this time, my understanding, and I could be wrong, is that's going to be controlled by the state because those are the actual second round auditions too. They'll be pulled from that. So the sight reading and all has got to be consistent across the state. Greg is going to be taking care of that. He's also going to be supplying monitors because every district does, like we follow the state pattern very closely, but there are some that don't follow so closely. It's looser. So they want every first round to follow the same instructions and go in the same order and do the same stuff so that when they get to a second round, it's an equal playing field for everybody. So there are going to be some different things. That's the reason why they're asking everything to go through accepted for first round so that everything is in that format and everything is being recorded equally.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion other than high school that we still need to discuss?
Okay, unless any of the middle school directors and junior high directors have any other comments or ideas they want to throw out right now, I think y'all are good. I think so.
All right.
I think this is something else we gotta do. But thanks for calling in. For those of you who are about to sign off.
Oh, one question. Why does Melanie sound like a chipmunk?
She doesn't know. She said her sound's messed up.
That's the only reason I was laughing every time she's walking. You sound like a chipmunk.
I'm not really in my comedy routine right now, but everybody's like liking tears.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye, Pam.
Bye.
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 So are we going to go with a Saturday or a Tuesday or
What I can do also, since not all the high school directors have called in, is I can write down the dates that you guys are proposing and send out another survey. And you guys, I can just do majority vote. And if it's really close and the days are right next to each other, we may be able to ask for a 2-day window.
Okay.
But I think that I think because Melanie's right about how long it normally takes to audition everybody, and we may not have the numbers this year that we normally, even though last year was a low year for us numbers wise for all the groups, it may be even lower this year, just with everything being so different. So it may not take as long, but it might be good to have a Saturday in the mix just in case.
Yeah, I prefer Saturday myself, but I mean, any day is okay with me. How about, I know we talked about payment deadlines, but when would do we have an exact deadline date, or did I miss that?
I think just as long as we have signed them up and had them paid before the audition day, we'll be fine. So once we pick the audition day, we can kind of set our own day where everything should be
deadline. Okay, all right.
That includes the forms and stuff that they need signed?
I don't know what kind of forms they need through Accepted. I guess we need the normal LMEA form though, right? That we always have.
Yes.
At least. Yeah. So that'll come to me. And
you need the state form too. The district and state are slightly different.
Both. You still need both. Okay. The district and the state form. Yeah.
We just do that for the one audition.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the state form, so if they get called for a second round, then they don't need to do it again.
Right.
So, okay. Okay. The times. Do we have to get our dates once we choose a date? We have to get that approved by Greg Oden. You're me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're just going to have to notify him. I think.
Okay.
I know they're going to talk about that. They have an entire session set aside to go through all state stuff at the conference between the 3 divisions that are using it.
Okay. Okay.
But email.
I guess the answer to your question is I don't know, but I will find out about who chooses the times for Accepted.
Now, he's not choosing the time. You can schedule that, but I do think he's going to have to know because he's got to set up monitors and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I guess if he's going to have to, if he's setting up monitors for these auditions, it probably for that reason too would be easiest if they were all in one day, if we can do it. So a Saturday is looking more and more like the easiest thing for everybody. And if you need to have them meet at school, hopefully that'll be okay. And if they can do it from home, they can do it from home and they won't need to. And what we can do is for those of you who have to have students meet you at school, if you let me know of that in advance and we can schedule the times, then we can schedule them all in a block for you. So you don't have to like wait around, all day at school, and then you can just go for those few and then you can go home. So let's see, the 16th is the Saturday before Martin Luther King, which probably won't be a good idea because I don't know if people are going out of town, but with holiday days cut in St. Tammany Parish, you never know. I don't know. What about the 23rd of January? That Saturday?
Sounds good.
Yeah, fine.
January 23rd. Okay, so I can ask Josh about that date and Greg and make sure it's okay. And then, yeah, Stephen.
So if we want to host it at a place, as I said, I'm willing to offer up my classroom. It's easy access from outside. So, I mean, both my doors go to outside. So it can be an easy walk in, walk out. The kids can easily practice their song outside with plenty of room. I'm right next to a parking lot. It'll be easy access that if I have a couple of teachers helping me, we can rotate them through. They can come in one door, exit through another one, and we can do all the auditions in one place if we want to. I'm not saying we have to.
Yeah. I know St. Tammany students probably aren't going to be allowed to go anywhere school related on another school campus, especially out of district. But we can offer that though for anyone who may not, for whatever reason, be able to have their kids at their school if they can't do it from home. Because a lot of the kids I mean, if they have a reliable internet connection, we'll be able to do it themselves from home and won't need to come up to school at all. But yeah, I can definitely offer that up for if you're going to be having your kids there anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm willing to host, like, even if it's just East St. Tammany coming to over here to make it easier, I'm willing to host all that at my facility because I think that would be an easy place for everybody. Because, as I said, the 2 doors I have go to outside. And they can come in one door, exit out of another, and it's not there. Because, I mean, I'm a band room that I also have to have choir in.
Right. Okay. We can keep that in mind, but but since we can all do it, most of us do it remotely, we probably won't need a common meeting space, but yeah, we can definitely keep that in mind just in case we need something. All right. So I'm going to double check with having this tentative for January 23rd, and I'll let you know as soon as that's confirmed with Josh and Greg Oden, make sure that's okay. I'll be sending out a middle school choir survey just to see if there's anything they need with maybe helping to get a choir started, if that's something you guys wanted to do. And I will start looking into cost options for virtual choir videos for the high school and then maybe a junior high, middle school mixed one. We could try to do 2. Is there anything that I'm missing?
So I was doing a little bit of research on the virtual choir stuff because I only have 5 kids this year.
Okay.
With all the COVID stuff. And J.W. Pepper actually has a few different virtual choir kits. They cost right around $250 to $300, but that's for everything. And it comes with tracks for them to practice with, kind of a track that they listen to, and when they're recording, they hear all the music and they just sing what they're recording. And they go through and do it all. And those kits are about $250 to $300 a song. And I don't know, I haven't looked into it enough to find out if that's unlimited soprano, alto, tenor, bass that you're getting, or if you're only allowed so many downloads of it. But looking into like $300 a song, it might be a little bit cheaper in the aspect of that. You can still purchase all this with the song, like it's a normal $250, $3 a song. But J.W. Pepper is starting to roll out. Right now, it's only the Christmas stuff that I can see, and a couple of things that can kind of go both ways within secular and all that. But there is stuff, they got virtual stuff starting to come out.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely check that out. My concern still is that piecing it together part and, the producing of it to make it look like something professionally done, because that is not anything I have in my
Yeah, I don't have it either. It was one of those things that I was looking into, and I was going to get with our broadcasting teacher to make it like a student-led project kind of thing to go through. So, and I know this is going to be harder to kind of convince Channel 13 about with it, because there's also the other parishes not within St. Tammany, but at least maybe a few of us can go over to Channel 13 and get a tutorial on how to do it, on if they can give us some pointers. I think Channel 13 will be very willing to do that.
Yeah, they might be able to. That's a good idea. I can look into that too. All right, cool. All right, so I will add that all in to my research, and I'll keep you guys updated on anything that I find.
Could Channel 13 maybe just even compile the ones from St. Tammany Parish, and then you have less to compile from outside?
That's definitely a good place to start. Yeah. Just at least for the audio tracks, because I don't know how it would work if they did like a whole thing and then we tried to edit with other videos.
I don't know.
I mean, I know Dr. Bernard, I've been in contact with her because I was supposed to they're having a school board meeting right now, and they were going to use my band for March's Armed Forces medley. And they did not end up not using it because the hurricane came through the day that we were supposed to record. Right. But they are looking for stuff for us to give to Channel 13 so that they can put it out on the channel, put it on the YouTube channel. And even I think this year might be at the time that they may put up a district video virtual choir thing and may produce it, because they're looking for material to produce out there. I think, and especially now that we have a new superintendent, he might be a little bit more lenient on letting us do some stuff that's showing our students and other students in our parishes nearby.
I saw that video. All right. Yeah. I can definitely ask them. I've never tried to get them to do anything outside of, you know, I know they do our Veterans Day thing every year, but I've never tried to get them to do anything else. But yeah, I can definitely contact them and see if that would be something that they could do, because that would help out tremendously if they could even just do audio tracks, if they didn't want to work with videos of kids outside of the district. But yeah, and it'd be cool if they could show it too. Yeah, awesome, cool. So I will look into all of that. Does anybody else have any questions for now? Comments, concerns? No? All right, cool. Shoot me an email if you think of anything, but I'll be sending out those surveys and another email just to make sure with the other high school directors that the 23rd of January will work for everybody. Cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for all your thoughts.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good night. See you
You
around.
too. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.